Right? And I'm not playing no games. Yeah.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, Japan. Good evening. I'm sorry. Good evening, Japan. Good morning, America, and everyone else. I hope everyone is doing well. We are here to discuss Tokyo Comic Con. I can live vicariously through my brothers from across the world, uh, the JINJA NINJA, Angry Canadian, and I believe Wakizashi's going to try to be with us. He's got some stuff going on. But listen, it's so awesome to be here. James, my friend, can't wait to talk to you about your experience, your second Tokyo Comic Con
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
row, and what that experience was like. So thanks for doing this, my friend.
Oh, thank you for having us on, man. Really appreciate it. I can I could say this is the first stream I've been on to talk about the experience, so I'm looking forward about reliving it again. I'm still on a high from it, so yeah, looking forward to it.
That's great. Angry
Time.
Canadian was keeping me alive updates on the ground. I got to get live stream updates. I got things he was getting and grabbing and purchasing. He was offering up the shop for me at one point. So, AC, my brother, it's so great for you doing this. Thanks for hanging out, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. And I'm just here to be a service to anybody that needs it, and I'll try my best in the process.
So we'll say hey to your Barmy, who's going to be here. That's awesome. Thanks for
Hello,
hanging
how's
out
it
with
going?
us this great day. Appreciate you. Good evening, rather. Yeah, I don't know exactly the time zone that you're in, but it's great to have you. Great to have you. YouTube started doing this, so this was a really interesting thing because whenever I had gotten monetized, one of the things I wanted to do was have memberships, and of course, you kind of want things and you don't know how they're going to work. So it wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. You have a very limited flexibility on how you can operate and do things. They've made a couple of improvements. So I will say it's easier now to give members early access to videos as soon as I get them done. So today there will be a massive drop, probably about at least 3 videos will get thrown in there for the members early, things like that. But one of the things it wasn't allowing you to do was you could give memberships. So it did allow
Oh,
that now. So now we're allowed to have an allotment of memberships. You can't pick out who gets them. Now it went away. It was showing me who they were, and now it went away. So but all of you members, there's 5 new members. Welcome to you. I'm grateful to be able to have the opportunity to do that and give some away and encourage some folks to know. Yeah, if you don't want to worry about like when my videos drop or whatever, they're there. So it's good. It's good. And yeah, Wakazashi, yeah, family was in town. My daughter just got home, so yeah, he's spending time with her. If he's able to hop in here, that's fine. I just knew that since we are doing this, the invite is there for him as well. And Dean Krantz, look at you, Dean. Hey, brother, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, hanging out. It's so such a blessing. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So, and Dean, oh man, Dean, thank you so much. He's gifted a Pops membership. So, if you are not a member, just make sure you check that out. Oh, I see it. I already gave it to Jacob Ironside. Congratulations to Jacob Ironside. He was gifted that membership. So, thank you, Dean. Congrats to Jacob. Jacob's actually been a great friend of the channel. It's an artwork for me. He did the Santa art.
oh,
He
look at
got
that.
my with me
Nice,
holding
nice.
my the Dr. Pepper joke, and now it's like it says Dr. Pops on the label there. So that's super cool. So all right. All right. So James, before we get too much for some of the photos and show and tell and that kind of thing, what was your sort of like your strategy going to this con? You have some life lessons from last time. I know we talked about it a little bit last year, but just give your thoughts because a lot has changed since then.
Right. Oh, well, this time around, the big difference, and I'm sure you'll notice from the photos, is that last year I think there was approximately 30, a little bit above 30 people in Artist Alley because we still Japan had just opened up back again, but there was a lot less people traveling still. This year around, there was over 100 people in Artist Alley. So
Wow.
as you could tell by pictures, we were all squished together. And one of the reasons that happened was there was I before Tokyo, I went straight from Tokyo from Okinawa Comic Con straight to Tokyo, and we had a bunch of voice actors for English dubbed anime like Pokemon and Ash. I don't know all this stuff. Anger can tell you about those, but we had a lot of the voice actors, and we had like actors from Aliens,
Hmm.
uh, not Sigourney, other than Sigourney Weaver's, like 3 of the other big ones, like Michael Bean and is
Hmm.
it Bean? Pronounced Bean,
Michael
right?
Bean. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was there along with the actress who played Vasquez and the other actor
Oh,
who was like,
Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah.
oh, not Michelle Rodriguez. This is way back in the days. This is what was her name? Um, she looks like a Michelle Rodriguez, but she's actually like a Jewish lady. I found out. Um, so they weren't supposed to be in Tokyo, but they like were going to Tokyo anyways. So they got like I think it was an extra 6 or 7 booths for all of these people who would normally be like in the celebrity section, but they threw them in Artist Alley instead. So with all that, we were pretty cramped. So that was the
Okay.
a big difference between last year and this year. And every single con that I take part in, I always like look afterwards like, all right, what can I do different to make my you know my area more entertaining? Because I look at my booth as like almost like a amusement park or something like that. You're coming to it, you're not just going to see me doing artwork. You're going to have other things to interact with. So this time around, I made some revolving displays for my postcards, and I was wanting to try to see what my Lord of the Rings stuff would do. So this time I did prints of all of a lot of the Lord of the Rings work that I did that had sold, and made postcards and prints of that as well. And those were extremely popular. So that was a good way to test the waters with those. So this time around, I was just trying to introduce new merch, play around with what my setup was on the table,
Hmm.
and yeah, just you know, um, try to not get too busy and keep it clean as possible. Which yeah, a little bit of success, a little bit of failure there, but every time it's a learning experience. Yeah.
Well, that is so awesome. Wakizashi's calling for cosplay photos, so I don't know. I don't know if James dressed up as anything or AC dressed up. I know there is a cosplay photo of James out there, so maybe we could pull that up at some point. I think that actually
Yes.
happened before Tokyo, though. But yes,
Right, right. That would have been for Halloween.
yeah, that was awesome. And Dean says, I've been to Tokyo, only briefly, was not aware there is a Comic Con in Okinawa. Yeah, yeah, they both,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
they're good stuff. So,
Hmm.
indeed.
Right.
And now friends with the son of Apone. He was a naval corpsman and now has a PhD in geology. Good guy. His dad was a Vietnam Marine vet. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. The actress is Jeanette Goldstein.
That's the one right there. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
horrible with
that's
names, by the
right.
way.
Yeah.
So I
So
ended up at the end of the con having to translate for her and get her to Tokyo Station on a taxi cab, which was very surreal. But they're just really laid back, nice people. It was
sure.
fun. Yeah.
Sure. Very cool. Very
Hmm.
cool. Iron Caster's up early. You ever
Hey,
ask
what's up, Aaron
about the
Custer?
KFC? You missed the KFC talk. It was before the show, I believe. So, but yes, KFC is a thing, and yes, they did talk about how that, and I learned about Christmas cake.
Yes.
Briefly, how big is the KFC thing for those Americans want to know?
Oh, it's huge here. Even if you can't get KFC, then you just get chicken in general. So you could go to like the convenience store, or you go to the supermarket around Christmas time, and there's just tons of chicken available. If you go to the convenience store, you could order your cake way ahead of time. It's just part of the tradition here. Yeah,
It
it's
was that
huge.
a weird thing to get used to that KFC is like a Christmas tradition over there? It seems like an odd connect the
Yeah,
dots kind of thing.
it's odd, but I like KFC, so it gives me more reason to eat it every year. So hey.
There you go.
Well, the more weird thing is they don't celebrate like an actual holiday in the US, so it's still like a regular working day. That's
Yeah,
Right.
probably
yeah,
the most weirdest thing about it.
that's
Mm,
true. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, AC was our eyes on the ground. This was some of the photos early on. If you're on Twitter, you'd be able to follow AC. If you saw his channel, some of those kinds of things are out there. Folks, make sure you are connected to these. Everything is in the description to link to all of these folks. And let me make a little change here. No one wants to see me. Let's get James up top. There we go. But yeah, if you're not connected to us, you can make sure you're subscribed to their channels. Make sure you go over to their Twitter pages. James has Instagram, those kinds of things, and you can see photos, keep up to date. And yeah, this was James's display, which I thought was incredible, man. We talk about really, really getting your legs moving and feeling comfortable. You just look like a consummate pro at this point. Like you've been doing this for years, man. So congratulations, man. This is
Well, I
great.
appreciate it. I mean, I feel very comfortable behind there behind the booth. Like it just feels at home. And AC could he could, you know, verify this. I don't move very much from that position during the whole con.
That's very true. I had
Maybe
to like
once.
force him to go places because he wouldn't move.
AC was the were you the official Jinja Wrangler for the con?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Especially after the con when we went and had some fun karaoke and had
Oh,
to
geez.
lead people around because they didn't know where they
Oh,
were going.
yeah, that was a well, boy. You always wanted to end on a good note, but that was a little bit of a, I don't know. What can you do? Yeah,
All
those
right.
crazy
So,
youngins.
AC, what was it like? I mean, you met up with them last year, so you were familiar with kind of a little bit of what to expect and that kind of thing, right?
Yes, last year was actually the first time I met him in person and Gray in person, and that's when we hooked up and connected through like YouTube and whatnot. And so yeah, I saw last year. I was only there for one day last year, and like James said earlier, like everything was spread out, so it was
Yeah,
kind of nice because there was a lot more room to display your like James's booth because people can go behind him if they wanted to. But this year it was like you said, 100 people in Artist Alley, individual
yeah,
people, and it was just so packed that like we had to slide our table over just so we can have like a path to get in and out because we were just crammed in with like all these other people. And then on top of that, this year there was a ton of people that came to the con itself.
yes,
So there was just like, I mean, on Saturday was the busiest day, at least for the Artist Alley section. So it was just like a sea of people in front of our booths,
mm,
and it was intense. So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and a lot of people seemed happy to be there and take in everything too. So
yeah. That was definitely different than last year. Like the amount of traffic going through. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but the number of big name artists. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, l- last year, of course, we had a lot of locals come out because a lot of the foreign artists couldn't make it. But this time there are people, whose comic books you read and who you've idolized, and all of a sudden they're just like in the same, the same area as you. And the first day, I can honestly say it's the most nervous I've ever been in any event my whole entire life. Um, and it took me a while to get over to the jitters, definitely.
You guys don't hear any static, right? It's just me.
Just a little
just a
bit when
little
you
bit.
speak, yeah, but nothing too horrible.
When I speak, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Sh- could be a loose
Feelings.
cable.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. So,
It could be all
um,
this magnetism on the panel right now. That's what it
it could be. It could be.
yeah.
I'm gonna blame. I'm gonna blame AC for our technical difficulties.
All right,
That's,
that's
Me.
fine.
that's what I did for everything that went wrong. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, that's true.
AC, take us through another photo here and talk to us a little bit about what's going on.
Yes, so right here, this is the first day of the con. I'm just taking a photo of James, and then James can confirm this. Loki was his most
Yep.
requested commission at the con, so this is one out of like 5 or 6. I don't remember.
I lost
Um,
count. Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot, so I included as much as I could. Here's just a video of Artist Alley, and this was on Friday, so it's not the busiest time, but as you can see there, like uh, the aisles in between. I mean, on Saturday they were just filled with people moving in and out, and you could see how there's so many artists there in that one corner. Yeah, it was quite a bit. It was, and then this is like an exit that I'm standing at, so people can exit out from over here, and there's artists down there directly below these like escalators. Um, yeah, I took a video of walking around the con. I should have took like a smaller video like this of like the different sections. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that, but James was having me run around and do all kinds of stuff. So
Making copies,
making
commission forms.
copies.
Which in the end, there was hardly any left at the very end. So yeah, all those runs were necessary. Thanks, man. In the end, ended up having. I just did my count here. Ended up having. I think it was over either 76 to 80 pieces commissioned. So I'm
Wow.
halfway done. I
That's amazing.
don't know what I'm gonna do.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
This was one of the first photos AC shared. This
Yeah.
looks like Padawanabe's closet with all of the old school figures from Return to the Force lines and things like that, Revenge of the Sith, that kind of thing. And then, of course, the a white covered comic book, which is great for getting folks like James or someone else to do a rendering for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah, the
Uh,
skin bag one.
yeah. So then, this is one of his other commissions. So I tried to take a photo of like the line art and then the coloring, and then obviously the final photo. But sometimes like we would get crowded, and then like he's still drawing, and I'm talking to people. So there was a couple I missed out on. Or I would step away to go do something for him, and he would, give the commission to that person, and then that photo was never taken, so we couldn't see what the commission was.
Yeah. I just completely
Anyways.
I would forget to take. I was really good about that. That's the funny thing. I was really good about that the first cons I did to, okay, when I'm done, take a picture of it. But this, I just felt like it was a conveyor belt. All right, get it through there, and then let's go on to the next one. So I just completely forgot every time to take a picture of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
here's an
but the
example.
customers have been really good about actually posting those online.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them have. Yeah.
Here's an example. So James, you had to kind of tread carefully here with this Astro Boy photo or painting, I should say, because we were talking about it how like it's a very specific art style. So you got to make sure
Yeah.
you do it correctly, otherwise it looks a little goofy. But I saw the final photo because the customer, he shared it on Twitter, and it looked. I never got to see the final product when you painted it, and it looked amazing. Like
Thanks, dude. Yeah.
it was awesome.
Like, the anime pictures are definitely the most difficult to do because everything's just really extremely, like, calculated, like, a certain size of eyes and everything, and it's if you're off just by a little bit, it does look goofy. I mean, even though it is goofy already because it's anime, but it looks goofier. So, like, with other pieces like the Juggernaut piece, you're, like, able to get a bit expressive, which is kinda down my wheelhouse, where I found, like, with something like this took me twice as long as it should have because I was just being really careful about getting proportions and everything right. Yeah.
As you can see there, he's got Gambit. That was a commission he done pretty quickly and gave to somebody on day one. Um, and then on the second photo, I think that's day two, he's working on another low key commission. Just another photo of the booth as well as the crowds here. And then yeah, here's his low key commission, one of the many.
Yeah,
It
just
was
fun one.
interesting
Yeah.
because every one of them was uniquely different because the customer asked you like a specific style.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was kinda cool. We got to see, like, all kinds of versions of Loki, or well, you got to draw all kinds of them.
Yeah, like, one person was like, they wanted, like, the actual Tom Hiddleston as Loki with his helmet off as a comic book character. It's like,
Mm.
"Okay, my brain only got half of that right now. It's gonna have to catch up whenever I start drawing it to for the
Hiddleston
other
was
half to
there, correct? Like Tom Hiddleston was
Yes, he
there,
Yes,
was.
yes,
and
yeah, that's
Benedict Cumberbatch was there, some things
mhm.
like that. So they had some pretty big name folks show up.
Yeah, there was, who else was there? The Scandinavian actor, what's his name?
Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah, the Mads Mikkelsen was there. What's her name? If the lady who plays in Hawkeye, or no, Ant Wasp. She plays in Wasp.
Oh,
If
Oh,
Evangeline
Evangeline Lilly.
Lilly, that's right.
yes,
Yeah, she was
yes.
there as well. Um,
Ewan McGregor was there.
Hugh McGregor. Yep, yep. So yeah, there was some big names there, and it was good to see them all. Hey, what's up, Sully? So like
Hey,
a
Rev.
proctologist convention in here. Oh yeah, this was the some cosplay that I very appreciated. Um, on these are all of these people here on the left side, the right side. They're the Joker and Harley Quinn, or Harley Quinn played Barbie the next day, and Joker is the Harry Potter character over there. But all of these young ladies and gentlemen work at Disneyland. They are the princes and princesses, so they came out in their cosplay get-ups. That was a really fun thing to say. And the hammer, I had made that for my daughter as her Halloween prop because she dressed up as Harley Quinn. And I was like, well, we're just going to let it sit around the house. We might as well try to sell it at Tokyo Comic Con. And sure enough, the Joker guy there picked it up off of me. It just asked me to throw some blood on there. So I got my acrylic ink out and splattered some on there. And And Anger gave me a couple of tips, like, "Hey, do this or do that." And, okay,
Yeah, she has a very strong Margot Robbie lookalike in
dude,
cosplay. I mean, that's
it
really,
was
Yes.
really spot on.
Yes.
Holy cow.
it was like I thought I just like she was there. I was like, "What the heck?" So I made sure to take a picture with them both days. Yeah.
Mm.
So over here on the left, the far left is the Tim Burton-esque looking one. That's another thing that I was really happy about. There was a lot of repeat customers from the first Comic Con in Tokyo that I took part in, and then they came and went saw me in Osaka, and then they came here again. So some people I've done 2 pictures for, some people 3 pictures for, some people 4, 5. So it was really nice to see a lot of repeat customers. But the one on the left, he's getting married, so for his wedding reception desk, he wanted a picture of him in a Tim Burton style. So yeah, I did that for him, which was very nice. Yeah,
Yeah, very, very
he was
cool.
really happy
Again,
with it.
another look. I like the McFarlane-esque Spider-Man you got going on here.
Yeah, they wanted, well, it was from the movie. They wanted No Way Home Spider-Man, so I did it, uh, you know, in my kind of like my style. But I got movie poses because everybody's got different costumes, and it's so difficult to like, you know, oh, I want this like a homecoming or No Way Home costume. I'm like, shoot, I don't even know what that looks like. Have to look it up, and it's like for me to imagine what that would look like in different perspectives, what it looked like all the way around. I don't know, so it's good. I have to have my reference photos there when I'm working.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. But that was a fun one to do. That was a young kid. I think he was about 13, 12, 13, 14, around
Yes.
that age.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was
And
good
that
to see a lot of the young kids. You know.
it was funny because while you were like finishing up, you were really tired. This was the second day. You were about
Yeah.
to start coloring it in, but he only ordered a black
Yes.
and white, and he
Yeah.
stopped you. He's like, "No, I only ordered a black and white." It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, I'm almost done. It's just gonna take me a few minutes to color it here." And I went to go get my colors. It's like, "Oh, no, 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 you don't I didn't ask you to color it, because if you get it colored, it costs more."
Right.
So, I was about ready to do him a little bit of a service. I actually did that for the Tim Burton one. It was supposed to be a size smaller, but then I just told him, "I know this one's on the house because you're a repeat customer, and it's a wedding gift as well." Yeah.
Well, we were joined by Das Wolfen and Tabletop Junkie, so it's awesome to see them here
Hello.
as well.
Hail.
And again, speaking of Benedict Cumberbatch, obviously going for the Ben Batch Doctor Strange look there on the left.
Yeah, it's so because it's a small that's a postcard size right there. Postcards probably one of the most popular commissions, just because it's affordable. And then so people are asking for like a postcard style, a size of a look-alike. So you're getting really really small details and oh, thanks, tabletop. Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's fun. I like the challenge.
I think this Spider-Man one is my favorite one out of all the ones you did, just because of the
Yeah,
coloring and
yeah,
the splash of blue at the top too.
yeah, that was fun. Yeah. I wanted to get a little bit more, expressive with things, but this time around, I felt like I was doing that less. I felt like I was being a little bit more calmer with my pictures. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I felt like I could have been a little bit more quote unquote messy with some things, but I kept it a little bit more, I don't know, within the lines this time, I guess you could say. Yeah, so for me, that spider one on the right, that was really fun to do.
Yeah, I got to be honest. You
Yeah,
have a knack for things in the rain. I've seen
yeah,
some of the
it's
stuff you
fun.
Yes.
do in the rain. Yeah, that's this is one of your strong suits. Is stuff in the rain for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And the one on the left, they wanted the Mr. Sinister from the anime, the X-Men cartoon. They wanted it done in that style, and then this was that. And I saw a lot of this as well. This was the first commission this guy had ever ordered, and he came to me to do that. I was like, I'm honored. So, and that's what both of these are the blank covers, and that used to be really intimidating, but now I just have to turn off my brain and say, okay, I don't, you know, not only is it's not just a piece of paper, but it's a comic book that you're doing this on. So, it's you don't want to mess it up.
Pops, I was telling James when he was doing this Black Spider-Man suit one that it was reminding me of when I was reading Craven the Last
Yeah,
Hunt.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that's
definitely.
exact with the rain and some of those scenes. Like that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah, that's where I was getting the inspiration from it for. So you nailed
Yeah.
that one, man. Yeah.
Very cool. Turtles, rock
Yeah,
on.
turtles are fun. Yeah. And then what's his name? Crowley from oh, what was it called?
Good
Omens?
Omens.
Good
Good
Omens, yeah.
Omens. Yeah.
That was the very last commission I did for when I was there. They wanted the character to, again, another postcard size. They wanted it to look like the character from the show. Oh, here we get some cosplay.
Yeah, I took a couple photos because I like these guys are Japanese guys that are they have a company in Tokyo, and I chatted with them for a little bit. They were the people that the somebody was dressed up as Balin Scroll from Ahsoka show, and he dropped the lightsaber and the pieces went everywhere, and so you had me go and chase off one of the pieces and return it to him. So I chatted
Oh
with these
yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
The Balin Scroll outfit was pretty good. The guy did a good job with it. So Madam Ghost Rider. I don't know
Oh,
what
that's my
that's
friend
the
Mara
proper
right there.
term.
Yeah, yeah. She's really good about what. So the girl there, her name's Mar. She is, she does cosplay every year. She just got back from New York Comic Con, and she's really going out of her way right now to promote all the artists and their endeavors. And she's on Twitter right now, going around getting artwork and pictures and videos and posts them everywhere. They're trying to start up a hashtag too for the Artist and Artist Alley, which is what I really love because that's what kind of original Comic Con was kind of all about, right? If I'm not mistaken,
Well,
comic
I mean,
books.
I think that it's just such a great way
What's
to
up, Surface Voice?
get stuff out there to other
Yeah,
folks. Like,
yeah, yeah.
for us, it was like going to a show was such a big deal back in the 90s because you would see stuff that you couldn't get at your local stores. So, for instance, you have to remember that, Ghost Rider #1 or Predator #1 would sell out, and it was like none of your stores in town had them. So where are you going to get them
Right,
from? You had to wait for a
right.
show, or you had to try to. Maybe you could find something online and you could trust that they'll ship it to you properly, but we didn't have the shipping materials like we have now. Like there were no Gemini mailers back then. There were no, we didn't
Right,
have
right.
things like that. So conventions sort of like, I mean, it was just a small niche community, I think.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, this is incredible to see Artist Alley kind of grow and be able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
give people a different outlet to get their stuff. Because this was how people used to get their indie comics out. They would just make their
Mhm.
indie comics.
Right.
They would have 1,000, 2,000, whatever, how many they could ever afford to make or print, and that's what would be there.
Speaking of indie comics, I forgot to mention this, and AC, you weren't here to see this happen, but I got to Tokyo on the 4th on a Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, I drew. I had like 50, this time around, I think last time for Tokyo Comic Con, I had one commission to do before it all started. This time around, I had 15 commissions to do before the show even started. So that was great. Thank you everybody out there who ordered them. And I got there Thursday to set up, and around Thursday, 7 o'clock Thursday night, I was just sitting around my booth drawing, and all of a sudden there was this loud bang, and it sounded like a bomb had gone off. And I went around, and everybody started rushing towards Artist Alley, and I went around mine and looked at the back, and there was a row of those partitions. The wall had completely, the whole wall had fallen over. Um, it was crazy. Godzilla attacked apparently. And my friend who has his own indie comic that he promotes there, his booth got hit pretty hard. He had a couple things damaged, but luckily it wasn't too much, and he was able to make the most of the Comic Con. But that was a crazy ordeal that we had happen. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. That's crazy.
No,
So
no, no.
No, yeah.
yeah, AC, these are the photos you showed me. Like, are you familiar with these or something like that? Did you pick these up, man? Because I know you love Jurassic Park and dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, so James has a friend there. His name is Joe. He's this British guy that buys and sells comics here in Japan or in the Tokyo area. And so he set up a big booth there, and he had like a bunch of short boxes, and he was and that's where I got these from. There was like some other interesting stuff. I did buy a blank cover Ghost Rider for James to do the cover on,
Yep.
because I really wanted that. But these were kind of like bonus. I didn't know he had them in there, and so I picked them up, and they're pretty neat.
Yeah. That Turok cover was part of that heyday of Valiant and stuff like that. So this is
I
pretty
didn't
cool.
I didn't know that I draw on this every year. And all the artists are supposed to go there and draw on it, and I didn't know it was up this year. And I had no idea. Usually the people come around and ask you to go draw on it. I was completely unaware that it was there, and I didn't get a chance to draw on it this year. I'm really bummed. That sucks. Ah,
Well, next time I'm gonna remind you then, because I thought I didn't realize you hadn't done this.
yeah, I do it every time, and I just completely forgot about it this time. But I apologize to anybody out there who's looking forward to it.
You talked a little
Yeah.
bit about the amount of foot traffic and obviously the amount of artists and people there and that kind of thing. So, like, what's one of the other takeaways that you had from this year compared to last year?
Oh, um, okay. Well, one of the takeaways I had is, I mean, I guess with all the people in there that are really, well known, famous, uh, you almost get like this imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Like, I don't belong here. And I didn't really have that in Okinawa here last year or in Osaka, but for this year around, I felt, and it wasn't just now, it's been like kind of lately, I've had that kind of feeling. And I got in there, I think that's what gave me a lot of nerves. But then I had a lady next to me who's an artist. She works for DC, and I was helping her out with Japanese and everything. And I just kind of, she said, "Whatever I could do for you, just let me know. I would love to like help you with something." I was like, you know what? Honestly, if you could do like just like a really short portfolio review, have a look at my work, and tell me what I could do to, improve myself or to better make my work more, I guess, I guess to work like with the not mainstream, but to maybe be published or whatever. What I could do to improve my work. And she just looked at it. You're doing just fine. You're doing great. I love your work. It's great as it is. Just keep on doing it. And then I had another artist, Rick and Morty guy. He also told me that as well, David. And it was just kind of reassuring to hear that. I know it kind of sounds like you shouldn't have to hear that from people. You should be confident in yourself. But this time around, just maybe being surrounded by peers and then, hearing those comments, I think that's going to do a lot for me from this time out. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
something
I think
I
that's
got from this.
that's all valid. I mean, imposter syndrome is such a valid thing. I was having a conversation with one of my sons about it, and
Yeah.
because right now he was more into advertising animation and advertising drawing. He was in a firm in New York, and of course they work from home, and now they've scaled back almost to like contracted only work. They're like, and he has like the imposter syndrome of I'm not actually working. It's like a full time job right now. Like it's almost
Right.
like a part time job because it's just not as consistent. And I likened it to, if someone were to come up to me and say, "You're a YouTuber," I'd be like, "Are you out of your mind? Like, what?" And he's like, "Dad, you have like over 2,000 subscribers. You're doing like 20 videos a week. You have a regular show. You bought it. How is that not a YouTuber?" And I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing there. Right. So I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's our lens, right? We're our worst enemy, man. Like that
Oh,
person looking
definitely.
back in you in the mirror is always your worst
Yep.
enemy. So
Yep.
AC,
Oh,
same kind of
yeah.
question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Oh,
James.
go,
You
go
could
ahead. Go ahead.
speak to
No, I
that
was.
first. No, no.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the person speaking to you in the mirror. It doesn't have to do with this the imposter syndrome thing, but when I was getting ready to head out for Okinawa, it was about 1:30 at night, and I had just gotten done working. Like I gotten everything ready, was ready to go to bed, and I went to the mirror, and I had this image in my head of Batman done as a monotype for the longest time, like this almost like a life size one. And at 1:30, I went to bed. I was gonna go to bed, looked in the mirror, I was brushing my teeth, and I was like, "Okay, let's go to bed." And it was almost like the mirror talked back to me. It's like, "No, you're gonna stay up and you're gonna do that picture." So I ended up doing that till like 4:30 in the morning. But Hachime, she's also a YouTuber. Speaking of YouTuber, she's been really great about promoting not only my work but a lot of other artists' work. She was just ecstatic about it, and I put it up there in the display. the booth for her to see, and she was really, really happy about it, and I got a lot of really good comments about it, so, hey, there you go, that person in the mirror, sometimes they could be your worst enemy, or sometimes they could push you to a different level too.
That's
So there you
true.
go.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
AC, what about you, my friend? You did the conventions last year. You were there with James this time, and definitely more of on hand for some of that kind of stuff. I'll let you speak to that, and we'll bring in Gray while you're doing that.
Oh,
Well, I guess for me, this year it was just really cool to see a lot of local vendors, like people from across Japan selling their goods. And the place that I bought all the Legos from, they were based out of Nagoya, which is about 3 hours away from at least where I live. And so that they were a group of people. There was some other local vendors as well selling like old toys and old merchandise. So it's really cool to see that compared to last year where it was only like, at least if I remember it correctly, there wasn't a lot of local vendors. It was more like the big stores, right? The pop-up shops or the Marvel shop, Disney shops. So it was really cool to see that. And yeah, of course, the Artist Alley and stuff was a lot fuller this year. But um, yeah, just seeing like, I don't know, like people make it having a business, a livelihood out of it, right? Like James's friend Joe too. So that was really neat.
yeah.
That's great. Well, great, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yes, I am Genki. I'm glad these gentlemen were able to make time for us. Hope you're doing well, brother.
I'm doing really well. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah, what's up, Waki? How you doing?
Yeah. I saw the photos, I saw some of the videos. It looked like it was a cracking Tokyo Comic Con. Wish I
Yes.
could have been there, but not this time. But yeah, it's been great listening to you, listening to the stories. And Angry Canadian, Jinja, I reckon he had you like to a tight schedule. Is that right?
Well, Angry had me. He was whipping me. He had me.
I knew it.
Yeah, he had me on a leash there.
I'm still waiting for him to
squeezed-
share his cosplay pics, pretty sexy ones from what I've heard, but he won't do it. He's been a bit shy.
Yeah, I don't know
Behind,
what Gray's talking about.
behind the scenes photos may not be appropriate for the Pop channel. I'll have to
Exactly.
save that for yours, Gray. You're the
Exactly.
one's going to run
Okay.
the
It'll
adult
have to
stream.
be on the private member stream only. Oh boy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely a bigger con, and well, something here. It's not official or anything, but there's been a lot of talk of increasing the number of cons here in Japan, just because of the popularity and the demand. So fingers crossed, because it's such a huge break between Tokyo December, Osaka May, and then you have to wait all another 7 months again for December, and it's just like you wanna have something to fill the space there, so they're in they're in talks right now to try to set up something happening. So fingers crossed. Yeah.
You mentioned Lord of the Rings earlier, trying that out in
Yeah.
the market to
Yep.
see what was popular and that kind of thing. Speak to that a little bit, and what other characters are still at like the top of the popularity list?
Okay, so one of the it, so yeah, this time around, and this pretty much started in Osaka in May of this year. Uh, the Lord of the Rings ones were I only had the original ones there, the original pieces, and those were very popular. And a lot of people have given me compliments on it, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to try making some prints and postcards of those to see what they do. I feel more, I don't know, I don't feel really good about doing prints of like for say like Spider-Man or Wolverine and things like that. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. But I felt like the Lord of the Rings were a lot more from the heart, if you know what I mean. Hey, there he is, the man in the flesh. So I did that this time around, and even beforehand, I had like another Lord of the Rings commission beforehand, and those just seemed to be doing really, really well. People were getting the prints, the postcards, a lot of good comments about them, and um, this I don't remember if Angry was there at this time. Yeah, Angry, you were there at this time. There was that guy from Malaysia that stopped at the very end. David, do you remember this guy? Angry?
Yes, yeah. When we were doing the cleanup, the teardown.
Yeah, and he just stopped by my booth and he's like, I just wanted to say that your work, everything you up here is great and all, but your like Lord of the Rings stuff is amazing. It's it's like really, really, really good. I agree with him. Like for me, fantasy, I love doing work with fantasy related. So I've been in talks with people about doing some possible Wheel of Time things because I'm reading the books. I'm on the last book right now. I did some Harry Potter sketches while I was there. So I would just like to maybe dive into the fantasy realm of things and just just go all in on that and see what happens. So something that I would like to do, and this is something I've been talking about as well too, is to compile the best of the Lord of the Ring pictures into some kind of book that I would only have like limited at cons or something like that.
So
Yeah.
again, I know this is. I'm going to push the envelope of the imposter syndrome for someone like James because this is. I mean, I've talked to the big name artists and they struggle with this too. Aaron Lepresti had included in his one of his crowdfunding campaigns a sketchbook,
Hmm.
and it involved random stuff, but it also involved those type of prints and things like that. So I would
Right.
encourage you to try to compile all that together into something, and then just do a
Hmm.
crowdfund for it, $10,
Right.
whatever. It doesn't have to be some high dollar item, and maybe you just number them. That was one of the things I liked of what he did with it. He only did it so that they were only going to be, I think it was 350. It was a pretty
Wow.
small number,
Hmm.
which I got to be honest, entices, I think, more of collectability of it all. Like you become like,
That's
oh man,
true.
there's only 350 of that. That's kind of cool. It kind of makes you, even if you have it, it becomes less likely you want to get rid of it once it's sort of out of print. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah,
I like
that's a
that a lot.
wonderful
Yeah,
idea. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
wonderful idea. Something I
And
would
and and,
definitely.
and selling your postcards. I mean, just the idea
Mhm.
that you could, do certain ones that are very popular, and just maybe you find a way to do something, yeah, with that. So yeah, great stuff, great stuff. Uh,
Awesome. Yeah.
AC, what about you, my friend? What was really popular, or were you surprised by anything that's no longer popular, like something you saw like a year or two ago, and now you're like, yeah. So, what? Speak to that a little bit.
Well, I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but I guess this year James had more non-Japanese people buy his Lord of the Rings stuff
Mm,
versus the Japanese people buying like the Marvel and DC like commissions and whatnot. At least that's what I observed. Because every time somebody came to our booth, they would talk to us and then like they would like, oh, and then we would point out the Lord of the Ring postcards or the A4 prints, and they're like, oh, these are really cool. And then they're like, we love Lord of the Rings, or if it was like Harry Potter or whatever, and more often than not, they would buy the postcard, the Lord of the Rings postcard,
mm,
versus like the normal like Japanese folks came and they would just get like the Marvel commission or DC commissions. And so last year, well, you didn't really have them last year, right?
right,
The
right.
Lord of the Rings stuff, but I wonder if last year if you would have sold a lot less because maybe that doesn't appeal to that crowd. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's just something I noticed a little bit.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's so hard to tell because Okinawa. It's so hard to decide what to have at the booth because I do Okinawa and Tokyo back to back, right? So I have to bring my stuff with me, but they definitely buy different things, like completely different things. Okinawa, a lot of people bought original stuff. They bought a lot of merch, whereas Tokyo, well, I think like 95% of the sales were all commissions. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a weird thing, and Osaka and Tokyo are different as well. So I'm still trying to get at the hang of it all, and every year I tell myself, okay, bring less, and I end up bringing more. So I don't know.
What about you, Gray? You got some questions for the gentleman here?
I'm sorry if I've missed it because I've been lurking, having dinner with my daughter. But what was the most popular commission? Like, which character did you get asked the most for?
Loki.
Oh
Yep,
yeah,
yeah,
Loki.
because
They
he was
they
there.
love Loki, don't they, Ginger?
Yes, they
Tom
do, big
Hiddleston.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and that's another thing that's always really intriguing is that I find that the Osaka crowd they really like the heroes. Everybody was ordering Spider-Man there, even though there was no Spider-Man. Was there a Spider-Man actor there? I can't remember if there was or not.
I don't remember. No,
I
I don't
don't
think
know.
so.
Yeah, but everybody was ordering Spider-Man, and then not a whole lot of villains. Tokyo, like a lot of villains. It always seems like I always get like a lot of villain
I'm sorry
commissions.
to interrupt. When was
Yeah,
Osaka?
It
back
was
in
in
May.
May.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, it's closer to when Spider Verse came out, right?
Yeah,
Spider
that's
Verse
true,
comes
That's
out,
isn't it?
that's
yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, this time around, yeah, a lot of Loki's just Loki. I even did an alligator Loki.
Also, how about the
So
ratio with like doesn't really matter, but were more men or more women asking for certain characters? Was it kind of 50-50? Do you get commissions from both?
well, I felt like it was almost. What did you feel, AC? I felt like it was just 50-50.
It was I think so too. It was
Yeah,
50-50
yeah. It it felt
from
like,
all
yeah.
age ranges too.
Yep. That was a good thing to see too. Like I like to see the young kids coming in to ask for them. It's always reassuring to see, like the younger generation coming in uh, and asking for like, Spider-Man or
Turtles.
comics. Turtles. Yep, turtles. Yep, I love that.
That's
But
cool. That's good to hear. It's
yeah,
like,
well,
are they
yeah.
more movie based as well, Ginger? The movie character based, or
Okay,
and like classic comic book
good
versions?
good point. I got a lot of like they wanted it to look like the actual actor or actress this time around. I
Right.
felt
Yeah.
like a lot of people were asking for those, which a part of me, I know this is a confusing thing. A part of me is like, I don't really watch the movies anymore. I've stopped doing that. Uh, but a part of me was like, I kind of want it to continue because otherwise, maybe the market will be less here if they stop making the movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a good observation, isn't it? To
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
that. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
yeah. It's kind of like but at the same time, you want them to get out of the funk that they're in right now and start producing better, more, things with more quality. But if you look at like Twitter and stuff, people in Japan, for the most part, seem that they're completely cool with what's coming out now, and they don't have really any complaints about it. So it is what it is. Um, but
Well, the
yeah,
MCU has been
yeah,
good for business. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously,
yes.
there's we were not the cool kids in class in any way, shape, or form, and we're barely at least tolerable kids now. So I
Speak
don't
for
think
yourself.
that.
I remember those days, pops.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know James is the cool one among us, but
James and AC are
Nah.
young, you youngsters.
yeah.
Well, I see. The thing is, I didn't wear the Star Wars shirt. I just had the Star Wars underwear on, so people couldn't see it.
Okay, all right, all right. So you didn't get beat up in the bathroom on a break. I got you.
Exactly.
I got
Yeah.
little
AC,
little sound there.
My underoos.
AC, what was like the video game part of it all? Like, do you see a lot of, Halo and One Piece, or did we see, what kind of other stuff did we see?
So when it came to non-typical like superhero stuff, um, there was obviously all the Japanese stuff. So there was people drawing kaiju's. There was the Transformers stuff as well. My favorite mangaka, which is a manga writer slash artist team, they were there and they basically wrote the manga for Legend of Zelda, which is a video game series. And so I got to meet them, and that was really cool. And they were
Nice.
there. Yeah, it was awesome. I was starstruck, and I was sitting next to James the whole time, and James is an awesome guy to be with. So, anyways, but there was some other artists there that were like kind of they drew anime or video game character art. As far as like merchandise goes, they had some like One Piece stuff for the Netflix series,
Mm,
but it wasn't a whole lot. There was,
yeah.
I think I saw a booth that was selling some more stuff, but no, the video game stuff was really limited. I did buy from this guy. He sold some metal prints, and so I bought three from him, and all three were video game related. But that was like 1% of everything else he had, because everything else he had was superhero stuff. And so I bought a Halo metal print. I'll take a photo and send it later on Twitter. Legend of Zelda and Metroid, and but that was it. Like out of everything else that was there, I think it was like 1% was like video game stuff. Um, yeah, they had the DC stand or booth there and the Marvel booths, and but it was cool to see a lot of the Japanese stuff too, which that was interesting.
Yeah, they had last time it was like what was it? Waki, do you remember the name of it was like Prime One Prime or Prime One or something like that for the toys section?
Prime
Oh,
Studios, I thought.
Prime Studios, that's what
Yes,
it
yeah,
was.
Prime
yeah, that's it.
Studios.
Not related to
They,
Amazon, but yeah, yeah.
right. They had Hot Toys this time. Hot Toys was
Yes.
the big one, but I thought that the Prime one was a billion times better, the Prime Studios. But what they had at the at the Hot Toys booth, which was really cool. And they're going to come out in April here. Is they had miniature figures, and they are all like 80s, 70s, 80s, like Marvel characters in their suits or in their
Oh,
costumes,
yes, I saw that.
like really small ones. They're all really, really, really cool. And it seemed like there was a big, craving for that style again. So I'm hoping that we could go back to some simpler, costumes because they're easier to draw too. Oh, hey,
Uh,
what's up, Yuki? She's in the
uh,
chat. I just want
uh,
to shout out to her.
Dean is also.
Oh,
Dean says a nephew got him a Spock shirt. He took some grief for that, but you don't break promises to 5-year-old. Listen, Dean, you're just rocking the retro clothes back in the day. I
True.
get you, man. We got to do what we were doing. Yeah.
speaking of Spock, there was actually from what I observed, there was a lot more Trekkies out here this time around than last time. More
No
than
way.
once. Yeah, and there was a lot, like some younger ladies and stuff that were all dressed up as well in their Star Trek get up. So that was very promising. So there you go.
Oh, so that's kind of
Sorry.
cool. They're marketing the figure
Oh
with
yeah, there they
their
are. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
sort of like their iconic cover. Like the Dark Phoenix
Yep.
one in particular is
Oh
super
yes.
cool, and that
Yep.
Oh
Wolverine
man,
Uh-huh.
from
It-
that famous Frank Miller series right there.
I've seen some of these
yeah.
advertising the Spawn comics pops
Yeah.
recently. I think Todd McFarlane's doing some, isn't he? I didn't even know what they were. It's like, what's pocket cover? It's like, okay, cool.
Interesting. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
we've got somebody in the chat right here. It's written in Japanese, so it's the Glitter Factory. This is Yuki. She's been great. She actually oh look, she said right there, I did 5 or 6 Star Trek glitter tattoos this time, which I'm sure that's a lot more than last time. She does this. She's an artist alley as well, and she's really good about supporting and getting the name out there and putting up photos and stuff. And um, I'm assuming that's your husband. I've never actually really asked, but he cosplays as Jonah Jameson, uh, and so
Oh,
they
is that
asked
him,
me.
Ginger? No
Yeah.
way. I remember him from last
So they
time.
asked me to do a commission. They commissioned me to do a piece for him, and she also wanted one from Peaky Blinders. I guess he is laughing. Okay, just making sure. So I did a couple of those for her ahead of time. Those were really fun to work on, and yeah, she's a great lady.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being here.
Yes,
That's super
yes.
cool. That's awesome. That's good.
And
And
that's
I'm glad
another
it
thing
went
that's really
well.
great.
So
All of the artists, people in the artist alley, everybody was really supporting each other. It's really good to see. Just like positive vibes all around. Like nothing, no drama, no negativity. Just good, fun people, and that's what I love about it. Yeah.
well, good morning, Penny. Here
Hello,
in the
Benny.
States, it is evening in Japan. We are live in Japan, so
It
that's
is.
why we're doing this. So yeah, super cool. Glad they could do it. So yeah, you're welcome. It's awesome. Yeah, I think this just, and this is the camaraderie that conventions bring, right? So you start to kind of,
Mhm.
you find certain people. You have people that come back and find you the next year. You sort of kind of
Yeah.
keep growing the kindred spirits among us all. So I just love that so much. So it's great. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, we'll go around and we'll wrap here. We're getting close to an hour mark. So, James, what else is going on, post convention? I mean, you go home with a convention like this, you go home with homework and assignments. So,
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So for me right now, that just finishing, I've got about 40 commissions that got to work. 40. That's such a daunting number, but about anywhere from around 40 to do. So I'm hoping to get those done by January, and then just getting ready for Osaka. So because that's going to be in May. So the thing that I want to do is for next time is just what can I do next time to bring more people to the table and to make an experience that they'll enjoy. Uh, One of the things, like again, that Lord of the Rings. Actually, I would like to get in gear and do Return of the King, and then just maybe go back into like the Hobbit and things of the sort, and just go through those books and just start banging out all kinds of fantasy related work. So that's something that I would really like to do. Yeah,
super cool. Super
and
cool.
yeah, and then I need to get back in gear and get my live streams up and going again. I've been really bad about that. So you know, it's a good way to get people's eyes on my work. So and it's fun as well. So I just need to do that. Yeah.
We all look forward to it. I look forward
Yes.
to it. AC, my friend, the vendor is coming along very, very well. We're excited about it. So
Appreciate it.
what's the plans, my friend?
Well, just gonna keep chipping away at the Venator, and I got a stream next week. Gonna talk some video game music, some friends, and but as far as like Comic Con related stuff, I really enjoyed helping James and being able to even go around and get things for him and make sure that he had a smooth time and also like make sure that he can focus on painting and whatnot. So um, yeah, and being able to speak Japanese, I was able to at least communicate with people here
Yeah.
and there as needed. James did most of the talking, but like if there was like a lot of people, because at one point we had 2 to 3 people filling out commission forms, so we had to make sure they were like doing it correctly. But yeah, I've realized that I like helping people and I like being in that situation, and very appreciative for James letting me come out and do that with him.
Oh,
Right back at
super
you, man.
awesome.
Right back at you.
Super awesome. All right, Gray. My brother, it's been cool to do this and hang out and be on this side of it, right? Live vicariously through these two good gentlemen.
Absolutely, and thanks for the invite. I felt a little bit like, well, I wasn't there this year, so I feel a bit weird coming on, but it's great to catch up with you. Great to hear your stories. And James is really, really good at Japanese, by the way. It's kind of embarrassed me last time. I've been here so long, Pops, but I can't speak half as well as him. And AC, yeah, he's pretty good too.
I think
I actually. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say what sells James at the booth is that he speaks it so well that it surprises people and they want to know more. So they come over and they start talking with him, and then he rolls right into his art and they see it all, and it's just really hilarious to see that in real time. I like it.
Okay, sorry, Pops. Just one last little story, and then I won't do it anymore. There was one person who asked for a Doctor Who commission, a Japanese person, and she had her head down and she was just kind of walking with a sad look on her face. And I saw her, through my peripheral vision. I said, "Hello, why the sad face? What's going on?" She's like, I was hoping, this is my first Comic Con, and I was hoping that there would be a lot more Doctor Who fans here, and I'm just completely surprised and disappointed that it's completely, they're not here at all. Nobody showed up. And I was like, well, you could always order a commission of a Doctor Who, and I'll do it for you. She's like, really? And then I got, $80 commission out of it. So you just gotta keep your eyes open and can speak to people, because I've seen people there who are really, really good, and they just sit there with their arms crossed and nobody comes to talk to them, because it's all about that, whatchamacallit, the vibe that you give off.
You've got the patter, James, and very, very approachable. Very, very socially cool as well.
I totally agree with that assessment too, because I met a professional comic book artist that I really do like, and even my son was with me, and I really thought I was like trying to introduce him to someone I thought was pretty cool, and it turned out to be kind of I don't want to say a negative experience, but it wasn't very positive for that exact reason. This person wasn't interested in just randomly conversing with a fan or anything like that. They were just there to try to get another commission and move on, and they just weren't. They just didn't seem like they were enjoying the experience. And maybe I caught them at a bad moment, but it didn't send a great vibe for my my son's first impression. So all of that matters so much more than I think people give it credit for.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's definitely you have to be a certain type of person to make it in order for that. Hey, look at that.
There it is.
Great. I cannot do a piece that is that good of the Joker since then. I've been trying to do a piece that would compete with that. I feel like
Really?
that
This is a cracker. I love this. Yeah, really, really good.
I hit the ceiling with that one, I think. Yeah.
That's the
signed as well. Signed.
Right
there we go. The back pops. Fantastic. It's an original. This will be worth millions in the future, I'm sure.
It will indeed. It's going to go to auction for sure.
No, but thank you very much for that, mate. I really appreciate it.
No problem, dude. No, my pleasure, bud.
All right, gentlemen. Well, listen, I am so glad we're able to fit this in and you guys could do it. It's always great to, again, can't see myself getting over there. So the fact that I can live vicariously through you guys and learn more about James's journey and support him as a friend in all this, it's just awesome. And like I said, AC, I can't even thank you enough for being like feet on the ground with all sorts of, Pops, you want me to go over there and ask him this and whatever. And hopefully some of the connections that were made can lead to, other conversations and interviews or things like that. So I look forward to all that evolving over the course of the year, and been great to do this. So, all right, folks, well, listen, all of you out there, we can't thank you enough. Make sure you leave your comments. We appreciate you interacting with us, hanging out with us so much. Great to see folks. Yuki, it's awesome to see you, and many of you others and you Americans like Penny and Dean, up super early. Joker, of course, he's worked all night, so that doesn't count. Tabletop was here, so Ironcaster's up early, so things like that. We appreciate you so much for hanging out with us. Dean, appreciate that gifted membership. It's just been awesome to do this stuff, and hopefully everyone will have a very blessed day, blessed evening over in Japan. And until next time, everybody take care, and I am Pops.
I rust.